What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Derek.
I'm Kevin.
And we're last week's album. We're bringing you two opinions on the best new music. And this week, we're talking about Unknown Mortal Orchestra's new album, Multi-Love. But before we go any further, we're going to start things off like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, Kevin, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
All right, so Unknown Mortal Orchestra is a trio led by frontman Ruben Nielsen, who is originally from New Zealand, but he is based in Portland, Oregon, at least now and for the time being. Heard things he might go to Hawaii, so that I hear it's very scenic there. Anyway, this is Multi-Love is their third album, and this follows their self-titled release in 2011, which is followed up by two in 2013. Very aptly titled album, I just add there. And so Multi-Love is their third album. Very interesting story here. In a very lost in translation-esque meeting, Nielsen met a woman in Tokyo, and they kind of struck up a friendship. She ended up seeing him play in Melbourne, Australia. I guess before I go any further, I should say he's married. So there's that. And after some correspondence, which he thought it was going to be platonic, as this woman met him with a partner. And so this correspondence kind of extended to between his wife and this woman. They had their own line of communication. And eventually they kind of built up this polyamorous relationship, and this woman came to stay with Nielsen and his wife and their kids. Ultimately, the relationship didn't work out. But really kind of forced Nielsen and his wife to reflect on themselves and their own relationship, and kind of brought them closer. And so this album is very much about that. In the opening track, he even says, it's not that this song is about her, all songs are about her. So that might be the most interesting backstory to an album we've ever had here at last week's album. So, with that being said, we're just going to jump right into Sounds Like. Kevin, what does Multi-Love sound like?
Sure. I think Multi-Love sounds like Prince simultaneously dating Toro and MGMT.
It's awesome. That's great. That's great. I think Multi-Love sounds like Portugal the man cleans his dirty projectors in the hope that it will tame his Impala.
Nice wordplay, Derek. Well done.
Oh, that's, what we do here, I guess. And talk about music. But key tracks, what did you have?
I'm going with number 6, which is called The World is Crowded. What about you?
That it is. I'm going with track number 8, Necessary Evil. Why don't you start us off, Kev?
Sure. The World is Crowded has this really floppy bass, popping drums, funk guitar, warm synths, really silky smooth vocals and vocal harmonies. There's the chorus of it, he says, "The world is crowded. Did your doctor prescribe me for what ails you, dear?" And while that might sound like a terrible pickup line, it actually doesn't sound so cheesy in the context of the song and the overall album, as Derek referenced earlier. The lyrics here deal with how love can be claustrophobic, which makes even more sense with the backstory. And overall, though, I like this track a lot because it's so calm and chilling and relaxing. It seems like he was trying to create that sense of calm amidst the track's really tense topic. So definitely check that one out and groove to it because it is groovy. What about you, Derek?
Kevin, I'm going with another groovy one here that, again, kind of tries to walk the line between this tense subject and musical theme. Here, R&B inspired guitar, smooth bass lines, subtle emotive keys or synths, very crisp percussion, bass snare, heavy drum beat. The post-chorus features this cascading guitar riff, which is mirrored by this falling horn line. Fun fact, all the horns were recorded by Nielsen's dad, who was a very prominent player with a number of popular acts in New Zealand back in the day. I just thought that was really cool. And then there's kind of this dark, sinister synth line that kind of leads the way for the sludgy electric guitar solo in the bridge. The lyrics here is really kind of a self-reflection through a lover's eyes, which is very interesting to even think about, just given the backstory here. And just one example, he says, "Loving me could be your fatal flaw. Just hanging in here trying to be your necessary evil." So just kind of self-deprecating, but at the same time, really kind of questioning, his own value through the lover's eyes. Just really interesting thing here, but just again told through this groovy, R&B smooth way. So just really a contrast here that I really enjoyed. That brings us to best lyric. Kevin, what did you think?
I'm going with a line from the last song on the album called Puzzles. And in it, he says, Einstein's brain is kept at Princeton University. Please don't ask it questions. That to me is just a hilarious mental image of Einstein's brain and the placard next to it that might normally say, please don't feed the animals or please don't touch the art. And in this case, it says, please don't ask it questions. I don't know, it's not central to the album's theme or primary topics, but I love it anyway. It's so nonsensical and fun. And I do think it exemplifies his sort of stream of consciousness, meets some really nice attention to detail that he creates in these lyrics on the album. So that's why I'm digging that one. What about you, Derek?
Man, gosh, mine it comes from a song called Stage or Screen. This one really does, I guess, really speak to or address the topic matter, but you're totally, and it's not as like super descriptive as a lot of these, a lot of his other lines are. So I'm kind of kicking myself now that you mentioned that, as I have a number of alternatives that are just more descriptive. But I'm sticking with it. From Stage or Screen, he says, actor, but never for stage or screen, acting like you've never seen. And in a few interviews, he kind of describes some of the challenges that come about through this sort of situation, and just the toll it takes on one emotionally. It was very striking, and I guess kind of knowing that and hearing this line just really struck a chord with me. Oh, what a terrible pun. But I just really dug it. It really stuck out to me. Even in listening to it, that line just really came across a lot. All right, so that brings us to overall rating, and the big question: does Unknown Mortal Orchestra's Multi-Love portray polyamory as a highly hormonal teenager's fantasy or middle-aged realism? Kevin kicks off.
Sure. I will start with the question, highly hormonal teenage fantasy or middle-aged realism. I say both. I think he languages in lust as much as he grapples with love. And I think that's really the secret of this album that really unlocks this amazing mix of silly and serious. I thought the drums and percussion are a particular highlight on the album. Vocals also really nicely adapt each song and vibe really nicely. It's very upbeat despite its emotional subject matter, like we've talked about. And I think each track is really unique, but they all work together really well. There's pop hooks, but there's also psych and worldly flourishes that keep it really interesting. And I can't find anything wrong with this album, so I'm going 5 out of 5. What do you think, Derek?
Damn, Kev, I think that was a fantastic summary. Just kind of going, again, totally agree. I think he does walk a fine balance between, the hormonal teenager and this middle-aged realism, just seeing what it is for what it is. And he calls it all, properly, I would say. Musically imaginative. I thought he did a great job incorporating various genres and stamping them with his own unique psychedelic stamp. Horns. I find myself, flashing back, like, did he, just rewinding, like, was that really a horn line right there? And a lot of times it was, and then I found out recorded by his dad. Again, I really couldn't find anything bad with this either. So I'm gonna agree with you. I'm giving this a 5 out of 5 as well. So there you have it. A 5 out of 5 from both Kevin and myself. So that is a 10 out of 10. So you really need to go check out Multi-Love by Unknown Mortal Orchestra, who might be known Mortal Orchestra after this. Who knows? So thanks again for checking us here at last week's album. Don't forget to subscribe to us. So we're getting the two opinions on the best new music, or whatever the heck we're doing here. And as always, I'm Derek.
I'm Kevin. Cheers, guys.